It's a 2019 William Jones Cup coming to you from the Changhua Gymnasium in Chinese Taipei. It's going to be the Mighty Sports Go for Gold Philippines gunning for their 4th consecutive win in this tournament while they go up against a very young Canadian team represented by the University of British Columbia, and this team still winless after 3 games here in this tournament. They will be looking to get their first win, but as we mentioned, they are up against a very tough Mighty Sports Go for Gold. Judd Sulit here alongside Coach Javi Nunag, bringing you the action from the Changhua Gymnasium. Here are the starting lineups for both teams, Coach.
Well, for the Philippines, it's Brickman, Black, Gray, Eugene Phelps, and NJ. For Canada, to be clear, Odu, Boissier, Morrison, and Simon for UBC Canada. UBC Canada winless so far in 3 games. They have to do a better job in closing out their games, as 2 of their defeats coming in overtime. A lot of miscues for the boys of Coach Kevin Hansen, especially in the end game.
And it's the thing that will be highlighted the most here. Youth versus experience. You're talking about several NBA, if not prospects, then players for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. You're talking about players who have represented their own countries being part of the national team. Ndiaye for Senegal, Bachman for Puerto Rico, and it's just the clash of 2 teams coming from different backgrounds.
But Mighty Sports Go for Gold, they have to be wary of UBC Canada because, yes, they are winless, but 2 of those games came in overtime. So against Chinese Taipei, they almost won that game. They lost by 3 points. So this team cannot be taken lightly by Mighty Sports Go for Gold. Now for Mighty Sports, right now it's a battle of attrition. This will be the 4th game in as many days. And one notable player that will not suit up for Mighty Sports is Mackenzie Moore, who is nursing an ankle injury.
Yep, but the word that we got from our reporter there, Paolo Del Rosario, is that he is basically just resting that foot. He should be good to go, but like you said, it's taxing, and we talked about this. We talk about this every year that we cover the William Jones Cup. In this tournament, it's merciless because you play almost every game. In fact, this is already a very unique situation for Mighty Sports where they will have 2 consecutive days off in the middle of the tournament.
And remember, there's no quarterfinals, semifinals, or finals. Whoever is number 1 after the eliminations, they will be crowned the champions of the William Jones Cup. So it's a matter of battle attrition for both teams right now. Canada is winless so far, and Mighty Sports winning their 3 games with an average margin of 24 points.
Well, this is our first quarter brought to you by Health Cube. It's going to be Mighty Sports. So look who's playing point guard for them to start the game.
And Jai there.
Well, at this point, Coach Charles Chu pretty much mixing his lineup. He's now starting with Black and Phelps, who came off the bench in their previous match. Well, number 1 was Moore, started in their last match against Japan alongside Bachman. And now Coach Charles Chu, he has that luxury because a lot of his players there on that lineup, Coach Javi, they can easily assume the role that the other player leaves out.
Yes, of course, and that's how the team was assembled. A lot of talent for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. But then again, what I said earlier, they cannot take UBC Canada lightly, as showed there, a 3-point shot to open festivities for the boys of Coach Kevin Hansen.
Oh, that's a 3-pointer as well, courtesy of Jeremiah Gray. Canada hitting back-to-back 3s. Patrick Simon getting that.
And it will trigger NJ to close out better when Patrick Simon, because he has knocked down back-to-back 3-point shots.
And Simon, at 23 years old, is already one of the veterans. Oh, and Jai wanting to slam that home. For some reason, this rim inside the Changhua Gymnasium, a lot of people are missing dunks. Yesterday, Canada missed 4 dunks. And now Jai missed that one. I wonder if there's something about it. Oh, Simon, lift open. Look at that, catching fire early in this game.
Good start for UBC Canada to start festivities here in the game against Mighty Sports Go for Gold. Another defensive breakdown for the boys of Coach Charles Chu.
Tell us, Coach Javi, what is Canada doing on offense and what is possibly Mighty Sports doing wrong?
Right now, they're attacking the defense of NJ as they are attacking them with pick and rolls because NJ is not closing out on Patrick Simon. He has hit three-point shots.
And he will try another one. This time it was closed out, but too aggressively as a foul is called on Eugene Phelps. Patrick Simon really stirring up the offense.
You cannot hit any part of a shooter's hand, arm, or body. That will be an automatic foul, especially in international play. Going back to Patrick Simon, what they're doing right now, UBC Canada, as we see Coach Kevin Hansen enjoying their start right now, they are attacking NJ, meaning that they are doing pick and rolls, actually pick and pop, because NJ is just defending the rim. He is just inside the paint. So nobody is closing out on Patrick Simon. And we're not even 3 minutes into this game. He already has 10 points.
No other Canadian player has scored in this match aside from that man, although he does get his first miss on that free throw.
And to be successful, UBC Canada has to knock down their open shots. And so far, in 3 possessions, 3 3-pointers to start off this game.
Simon already with 11 points in this match. He only averages 10.7 in the entire tournament. So he's already past his average, barely even 2.5 minutes into this game. A miss for Canada, first miss from the field for them, and it bounces out.
But you will expect a lot of outside shots coming from UBC Canada because of the length and the quickness and of course the height advantage of Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
Mighty Sports, they've had a couple of buckets, but nothing really very clean on offense. Look at Phelps just trying to muscle his way in. And muscle is going to be the advantage of this Mighty Sports team.
Strength, yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Strength is going to be a problem for UBC Canada. Nobody can defend Eugene Phelps one-on-one. He knows it, and he keeps attacking his defender, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws.
Oh, a bad miss for Phelps. Yesterday, when we covered the game, Coach Ryan Gregorio actually mentioned that if there's one thing that Phelps has to improve, it's his free throw shooting because of his strength. He really gets to the line a lot.
In the first game, the first half of Mighty Sports game against Iran, Eugene Phelps scored 1 out of 7 from the free throw area. So it has been a consistent struggle here in the Jones Cup for Eugene Phelps.
Well, that's a turnover for Coach Kevin Hansen's boys. Now this man, Aaron Black, is coming off training in the States and finally a dunk. Taken, got him.
It's a nice pass coming from Aaron Black and a better catch and the balance to finish off that offensive set.
Well, Black, he let go of his last year playing in college for the Ateneo Blue Eagles to train in the States. What are you seeing differently in his game so far?
Well, right now, the handles is better. Decision making also, and of course the confidence to knowing that you worked on your game against top tier players in America, and it's really showing the game of Aaron Black.
Well, the problem right now for UBC is they haven't had a solution for Eugene Phelps. Well, that's exactly what we expected. Going up against guys much younger, much thinner than him. Oh, he will keep on attacking that basket. Phelps was actually the leading scorer of the Philippines in their first 2 games, scored 20 and 25.
But UBC has to do a better job on defending Eugene Phelps as a team. Nobody in a blue uniform can defend Eugene Phelps one-on-one. So I'm sure that Coach Kevin Hansen will be adjusting in his defensive schemes because right now Eugene Phelps is just doing whatever he wants on the floor.
Black trying to get by. He wanted it to go to Njai, but made an errant pass. Simon, this time attacking, floating it over a couple of defenders. He has found a groove in this game.
The confidence is high right now for number 11, Patrick Simon, knowing that his defender will close out hard and drove to the back, attack the closeout, and score 2 points.
Eugene Phelps, however, also finding a lot of buckets early in this game.
It's the Phelps versus Simon show.
Absolutely. Well, finally, someone else scores for Canada. Boursier knocks down the 3-pointer.
UBC right now adjusting their defense as they are going to deploy a 2-3 zone to thwart that offensive might right now of Eugene Phelps.
Well, at this point, Phelps, that man has 6 points on top of 4 rebounds. And that's why he definitely is the guy that is giving problems for UBC. But now he will take a seat on the bench as Roosevelt Adams enters the
I
game.
think he got scraped and there's blood in the elbow of Eugene Phelps.
He, of course, you know, with the way he plays basketball, he really will get hit a lot, will get scratched. And there were a couple of times yesterday that he was really asking for a foul, none whistled. But the great thing about Phelps, he'll let the referees know what he thinks. Tell them he got fouled if he feels like it. But he goes back to the play quite fast.
This has been a good start for UBC Canada. They have been playing no fear whatsoever, attacking Mighty Sports Go for Gold, and Coach Charles Chu has seen enough and called for time.
And this timeout is brought to you by Go for Gold. It's a 7-point lead for UBC Canada. Canada playing excellent offense behind that man, Patrick Simon, who has 11 points in this game. And he has been on a tear. Actually, 13 points already out of the 18 of UBC Canada.
Canada right now shooting excellent from the field, 6 out of 9 from the field goal area and 6 assists to boot. So this is the dream start that UBC Canada was hoping for.
Well, that's something that works well for Coach Charles Chu and Roosevelt Adams and Mighty Sports Go for Gold. We'll say shooters bounce, but they'll take it.
The Mighty Sports Go for Gold, they don't have any problems on the defensive end. It has to be the defense. That's another open look, and good thing that it missed, but that's another open look from the three-point area for UBC Canada.
Here's Brickman. When the early goings of this match, Coach Chu let Aaron Black play that point guard position heavily instead of Brickman, who usually handles the basketball for them. But look at the three-point shooting of UBC Canada. They missed the other one, made this one. They're now 5 for 8. But Njai says, I've had enough of this.
It's a good counter by Mighty Sports Go for Gold, as they have been struggling, especially on the defensive end of things. They are their inability to locate their men results into numerous open shots for UBC Canada.
This time UBC goes inside. Shepard battles against Njai. While Shepard is still a pretty tall guy, you know, Njai just towers over him. Worried look at Coach Charles Chu.
Good job, Maya.
Or does he always just look like that? I think he does. Shepard from the outside, no good.
When you're coaching, you always have a worried look.
Yeah, actually. Even if you're up by 30,
Yes.
that's the same face that we saw from Coach Charles yesterday when they were up.
You will always look for ways on how to improve your team, so you will always have that look.
Especially if you're down against this Canadian team. However, Adams, open look, doesn't go for him. Adams actually has a funky release to his shot, but it's
But
his
it goes
calling
in.
card. Yeah, it's his
it goes in. It's like Jeremiah Gray, which they are very athletic, and also they could stretch the floor.
Well, better defense played there by Mighty Sports Go for Gold. They put some pressure on the ball handler, forcing that turnover.
That has been the calling card of the boys of Coach Charles Chu here in the William Jones Cup. Yes, we have we've noticed a lot of highlight plays, but it has been their defense that has been keeping the boat afloat for Mighty Sports. In their games, 72, 74, 59, those are the outputs, the total outputs of their opponents. So it has been their defense that has made them successful here.
Here's another Balkman, another veteran, and immediately imposes his will. In the very first possession that he enjoys, Shepard bought the pump fake, realized too late that he was going to get left behind, tried his best to catch up, but a foul was whistled on him.
Like I said, it will be a problem for UBC Canada to defend the Mighty Sports Go for Gold reinforcements one-on-one. So it has to be a total team effort because Ronaldo Balkman and Eugene Phelps will just light it up against UBC Canada.
Well, against Japan, that's also what we saw. Shepard trying to get away, but he was fouled by Balkman. Ronaldo disagrees. Yesterday, Coach, we saw a lot of one-on-one breakdowns by the Philippines on Japan. And it was the challenge that Japan's coach put on his boys that you cannot just worry about your man. You have to be able to play team defense. That's how Japan was able to put up a fight until Mighty Sports Go for Gold just took over in the second half.
Well, especially the talent that is assembled by Coach Charles Chu and the rest of Mighty Sports Go for Gold team. This is a loaded squad. So opponents like UBC Canada, they have to find ways on how to neutralize the NBA veterans and the reinforcements of Mighty Sports.
Balkman coming off his best game against Japan. Back-to-back three-point play opportunities.
Just like that, it was a simple pick and pop and the switch. That's a breakdown. You cannot have your guards defending Ronaldo Balkman. He is too good, too strong, and too tall for the guards of University of British Columbia.
Mason Bercier had no chance of slowing down Balkmania, committing a foul. Ronaldo Balkman, such a big-time scorer.
Good job, Mikey. Good job, Mikey.
Balkman yesterday top scored for Mighty Sports with 27 points, and here he gets that steal. Balkman sets up Williams. That's his specialty, and you see it there.
That's defense creating offense for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. A steal and a three-point shot in less than 10 seconds.
Mikey Williams is shooting 10 for 15 from downtown in this tournament. That's 67%, an insane number. The counter from UBC, they get their own three.
UBC has been waxing hot, especially from the three-point area, keeping this game close as that is their only chance against this powerful Mighty Sports Go for Gold. They have to make sure that they are accurate from the outside.
Taylor Brown getting that three-pointer, giving the lead back to Canada. It's a high-scoring affair we're having here, 26-25. Adams had to invent a shot, luckily got fouled, but it wasn't the best of attempts.
It was a lucky break there for Mighty Sports as it was a forced shot coming from Roosevelt Adams. He bobbled the ball and opted to shoot it instead of passing. He had a teammate in the corner, but he opted to shoot it. Lucky enough for them, they are going to be given 2 free throws.
And there was still 8 seconds on the shot clock. He could have even dribbled that ball out. But he did what he did, and here he is collecting free throws, tying the game up at 26 points.
And I'm sure Coach Charles Chu will not be happy with the defensive effort that his boys have shown here in the first period. 26 points in a 10-minute quarter is simply too high for a defensive-minded team.
Bercier running into trouble, and his pass sails out of bounds.
You have to move, Zeke.
Coach Kevin Hansen telling his boys to relocate. It has to depend on the drive. If you are driving from the wing, you have to relocate to that open spot in which your teammate can pass the ball to you. That time around, nobody was in that passing lane. Turnover for UBC.
And that's what we've seen from them all quarter long. You know, they've been able to suck that defense in the kick out, and then a lot of times open three-pointer, but that time there was some miscommunication and, like Coach Kevin said, a lack of movement from the guys outside. Boursier muscles his way in. Nothing on the first try, nothing on the second. And Bachman securing that ball for Mighty Sports.
Sorry, misses coming from UBC.
Phelps wants it in the post. He wants to test Simon. Attacking the baseline. The help defense was there. And that's going to be out of bounds. Eugene Phelps felt like he was fouled.
And that is how you defend Eugene Phelps. Patrick Simon cannot do it alone. It was a team effort right there. That was a nice double team for Eugene Phelps, which results into a turnover. And I think a technical foul also on Eugene Phelps. A technical foul in international play will result into a personal foul. So that's the second personal foul rather of Eugene Phelps.
But see, the thing about Eugene Phelps is this has been happening since the first game of the Philippines. He has been complaining about what he feels are non-calls, and I'm sure you play the game every single day. They do bump into the same officials covering their games.
Especially in international play, it's more physical, and there's a lot of let-go situations, and you have to play on. And that's one area which Eugene Phelps needs to adjust to, especially in the latter part of this William Jones Cup. Remember, they are the Mighty Sports Go for Gold. They're really going for the championship. Whoever is the first place after this stretch of games will become the champions. No next round, no playoff, no finals. It's the #1 team who will be crowned the champions.
Here's UBC, shot clock winding down. They flip it up, no good for Familia. 2 seconds, Williams lets it fly. Could not beat the buzzer. And after 10 minutes of action here in Taiwan, it's UBC Canada off to an excellent start against Mighty Sports Go for Gold Philippines. They take a 1-point lead, 27-26. Thanks to hot shooting from downtown, they knocked down 6 out of their 9 3-point attempts in the first.
Starting pass, get it in. We can use you, just bring it up. Okay? But we also need you guys coming back. Opposite finish, you're supposed to be this side, ready to come back to it or come in the middle. You can set the early 6 guys up. Okay? We did a lot of good jobs. They're not really interested. They're interested in playing D here to get steals or dunks. Down here, they're not really interested in playing D. They're trying to ice stuff and get good ball movement and everything else. Getting good penetration to the dots. You got to move into spots though. Let's just stay for a bit. Okay, so super is a big part, and also on those hedges guards, you gotta get
10 minutes of action have gone by in this game, and UBC Canada, thanks to their excellent start, they still are ahead. Entering the second quarter, 27-26. And you're taking a look at the 5 of Mighty Sports Go for Gold. They take the court early, and look, they're talking amongst themselves. They do not look like how this team looked in their first 3 games.
Well, for UBC, the hot shooting has made sure that they still have the lead going into the second period. 6 out of 9 from the 3-point area for University of British Columbia, Canada. It's a matter of being consistent right now, knowing that they're up against the #1 team of the William Jones Cup. So they have to be consistent and also play defense like they did in the first quarter. They limited the touches, especially in closing out that first quarter. They limited the touches of Eugene Phelps and Ronaldo Bachman. They're still up 1, 27-26.
We are about to begin the second quarter, brought to you by HealthQ. And the man that has gotten the attention of Coach Charles Chu and the rest of Mighty Sports Go for Gold is Patrick Simon, number 11 of UBC Canada, who has 14 points and hasn't missed from the field. 4 of 4. He's that guy with the basketball right now.
You can see Ronaldo Bachman just closing out hard on him, knowing that he has that ability to knock down the shot from the outside.
I remember also that Bachman, well, at least in the ASEAN region, the ASEAN Basketball League, was named Defensive Player of the Year. So for him to be put on Patrick Simon, that's a big, big thing. You know, a lot of respect for that young man coming out of Canada.
And that's what Mighty Sports needs to do, is to close out hard, make the UBC Canada players dribble drive. Because if it's just a pick and pop and nobody is going to get the shooter, it's going to be lights out for UBC Canada.
Bogman inside to Phelps. That's going to be a deadly combination. A high-low involving Bogman and Phelps.
Too good, too strong there for your Eugene Phelps, as he has that advantage against anybody in a blue shirt.
8 points now for Phelps. Adu gauging his attack. Adams in front of him. Inside, Shepard muscling his way. Oh, look at Phelps. Shut the door on Canada. Ahead is Bogman. And Ronaldo Bogman enjoys a jam.
That block was the first pass to a transition attack for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. Good execution on the defensive end results into a slam for Ronaldo Bogman.
And he gets the steal again on the breakaway. Bogman will finish the layup and will get fouled by Grant Adu. Ronaldo Bogman just too strong. This is his third three-point play opportunity.
And it all comes from the defensive end. You could see Eugene Phelps blocking this shot, and that block was actually the first pass to Mikey Williams for a transition attack, which results into a slam dunk. And then after that, it was a steal and the finish by Ronaldo Bogman. Like I said a while ago, we talk about the highlights, the athleticism of Mighty Sports Go for Gold, but it has been their defense that has been keeping them successful here in the William Jones Cup.
And Ronaldo Bogman has, without question, been at the very core of that Mighty Sports defense. He now has 3 steals and 1 block in this match. And he didn't even start this game. But that time, UBC getting away.
So you can see Grant Shepard hitting 2 points for UBC Canada to stop that run of Mighty Sports.
Here's Mighty Bogman. He also has 11 points to his name. Oh, Zach Graham tried to go a little too creative that time.
The adjustment made by UBC Canada is to deploy a zone defense, 2-3 zone defense, because of their inability to guard the reinforcements one-on-one. And that time around, they were successful.
Great inside defense once again. Williams. Out to Banal. Graham puts it up, lines up a 3.
No contest there for UBC Canada, and Zach Graham makes them pay with a 3-point shot.
No, he highlighted the 3-point shooting of Canada, but Mighty Sports actually isn't shooting too bad. It's just that everything that Canada puts up, it finds the bottom of the net. 7 for 10 now from deep. Well, Mighty Sports is 4 of 7 as well. Both teams shooting very well. Perhaps a 4th shot there for Graham. He gets the ball back. Tries to go to Banal, take it away. Taylor Brown with a steal. Another 3-point attempt, this time no good from Morrison. Morrison is actually one of the youngest guys on that team. Phelps falls down, gets a rebound while on the ground. And gets an assist as well.
Like the effort of Eugene Phelps falling on the ground, getting that rebound and having that presence of mind to dish it off to a wide open Mikey Williams.
Even when standing up, I wouldn't be able to make that play. He does it while sitting down. That's how easy basketball is for Eugene Phelps.
Another block and another slam for Mighty Sports.
Speaking of coming in easy, well, Phelps just muscling his way. Mighty Sports starting to pull away here. Their lead has grown to 9. That's a miss from downtown for Canada.
And it has been a 15-5 run here in the second period for Mighty Sports. The defensive energy has clearly racked up here in the second period, as we see that defensive block by UBC.
A big one, but Banal with a steal. Williams to Phelps, who'll go for that easy reverse jam. Mighty Sports Go for Gold starting to flex their muscles here. 5:52 remaining in the first half. We have a timeout brought to you by Go for Gold.
Guards, you have to get down the six. Go back there, Lynn. You guys are just wrestling. Stop taking threes and don't let it go. Concentration. This is getting to here. You tell a guy block your shot. You got to kick those ones. You make better decisions. Eventually get back to having that happen. I have two guys stay down there.
Back inside the Changhua Gymnasium in Taichung, Taiwan. We got Mighty Sports Go for Gold building their lead here in the second quarter. They have now won 3 games. As you can see, they're in dominant fashion, Coach Javi, but this one is against Canada, a young team. And the real challenge might be their next game after this one, South Korea, who is bannering their national team.
And also an undefeated team here in the William Jones Cup. Mighty Sports Go for Gold winning their first 3 games with an average margin of 24 points.
But Canada, they were off to a great start, had the lead by the end of the first quarter, but the defense of Mighty Sports has stepped up. It has made it so difficult for this collegiate team to be able to operate the way they did in the first.
17-5 run right now for Mighty Sports Go for Gold in the second period, bannered by their defensive prowess here, and their energy has really racked up in the second period.
Williams trying to break Bourchier down. Goes to Njai, got fouled initially, and he gets that basket. Will it count though? Oh, it will.
That's good patience there coming from Mikey Williams, making sure that he got that defender out of NJ, and NJ doing the rest. And one opportunity for this player of Coach Charles Chu.
NJ, well, his first exposure really to the Philippines was when Gilas Pilipinas, the national team of the Philippines, played the national team of Senegal back in the 2014 FIBA World Cup. And then soon enough, NJ would find himself playing in the Philippine Basketball Association as an import. And then the future, sometime soon, he did suit up for Mighty Sports.
That is the first miss of Patrick Simon in this game in the 3-point area. As the adjustment has been made, as we can see Jeremiah Gray doing his thing, in and out jumper, and the adjustment has been made in the defense, especially against Patrick Simon, and he has been held scoreless after that outburst in the first period.
Mighty Sports Go for Gold is a plus 17 in this quarter.
UBC Canada, they're relying solely on the outside shot. They are not even trying to penetrate or attacking the defense because of the presence of NJ on the floor.
It really is the defense of Mighty Sports that has gotten them this 16-point lead. Bogman left open underneath. And although Bogman has been a force.
So confusion right there for UBC Canada. Some players were playing zone and some players were playing man-to-man. As a result, an open look for Ronaldo Bogman.
Bogman now has 13 points. Simon gets blocked by Bogman. See, I told you he's doing it on both ends. He's manning the middle as NJ was forced outside Simon. Even the open looks aren't falling for him anymore.
Because of the adjustment made, and of course the energy right now on the defensive end for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. Everybody is in tune. They are communicating the switches. They're communicating the pick and roll action of the University of British Columbia. As a result, they have UBC has only scored 5 points in the second period.
Let's see what UBC will be able to do here. Simon puts the ball on the floor. And you really can tell that right now, with things going south for Canada, they are looking for Patrick Simon to initiate something positive on offense for them.
And they're trying to be aggressive. At the middle part of this second period, they were relying so much on the outside shot, and right now they're not. They're trying to be aggressive against the defense of Mighty Sports.
Joseph Yeo has entered the game now for Mighty Sports. Gray steps into a three. Long bomb is good.
This kid can play. He is a stud for a Mighty Sports Go for Gold, and a lot of PBA coaches are scouting this game and salivating on what it would be like to get this young man.
Simon finally a bucket for him again. Was silent for a while. Well, talking about Gray, he has 8 points and hasn't missed from the field, 3 for 3.
16 points in the game also for Patrick Simon.
He has been the provider for UBC Canada. But he's going to need a lot of help at this point, Coach Avi.
First and foremost for UBC Canada, they have to set their plays. They cannot just turn the ball over left and right, and make sure that they execute what Coach Kevin Hansen, as we see him on the screens right now, on what he wants to do. Because of this full court pressure that is being deployed by Coach Charles Chu, it has been a rough time for the guards of UBC.
Mighty Sports, everything working well for them on offense. They now have 17 assists. And their offense, as well as their defense, like you mentioned earlier, really picked up in the second quarter.
Team basketball right now is for what's happening for Mighty Sports.
Here comes UBC Canada. High off the glass, it's a miss for Morrison. Mighty Sports will slow things down. They are now up by 21 points. They entered the second quarter down by 1.
It was a 27-26 lead to start things off in the second period. Now it's 55-34. Only 7 points in the second quarter for UBC Canada.
Bogman breaking down the defense. Easy does it for Ronaldo, getting the 2 points. The lead of Mighty Sports Go for Gold, 23. Time left in the first half, 1:50. We have a stoppage here, a timeout requested by UBC Canada. This timeout is brought to you by Go for Gold.
Hey, you guys have to care when defense. That's just what you know. Guy takes a shot, Taylor comes into here, the ball bounces, plus another 3. That's just terrible. We're just giving them anything they want defensively. We have no desire. We're trying to beg you guys. We don't talk. I mean, 1-and-1, they're just taking us off the bounce. There's no rotations. We have Pat up here, Taylor's down here. Got guys in wrong positions. Like, have a little life down here. I mean, take a look. We scored an awful lot of points this half because our inability, not desire to play down here. You guys, like, get into the zone, attack, and look to make some passes. Post guys open, get the ball. That was it. So, you need to go some 4 high, just see what happens out of it.
$31-7. That has been the scoring here in the second quarter, dominated by Mighty Sports Go for Gold. A lot of it behind this man, Ronaldo Bogman, who has switched it on here in the second quarter. He now has 17 points.
And he has done superbly on both ends of the floor, blocking shots, defending Patrick Simon well, and then scoring also for Coach Charles. You look at his stat line right there. Has not missed from the field. 7 out of 7 from 2-point area, 17 points and 8 rebounds for Ronaldo Bogman.
Oh, big block there for Roosevelt Adams. And he takes a 3-pointer. Nothing there though. And on top of the stat line we showed from Bogman, he also has 3 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. Is there anything else you want?
A complete game, everything but the kitchen sink for Ronaldo Bogman, as he has really led by example for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. And look at this, anything that Mighty Sports wants to do right now, they are doing against UBC.
NJ punishing that rim. Well, you know what? For Coach Charles Yu, everything he's asked Bogman to do, Bogman has done. If he asks Ronaldo to tie his shoes, he's probably going to do that too.
For consummate professional, and also just celebrated his birthday, I think, a couple of days ago. So it's one player that you want to emulate, as you see that replay of that slam by NJ.
You know, NJ, he gets pumped up by those dunks that he gets. And so he's always looking to hurt that basket. Grant Adu hoping to spark something on the side of Canada.
21 years old, guard for Coach Kevin Hansen. Speaking of Coach Kevin Hansen, he really lit it up in that timeout to his boys. Told them he would question their desire to play defense. As we see a 2-for-1 play there, converted by the Ninja, Joseph Yo.
It's really good, you know, to see Joseph Yo in action. And able to hit that shot. Canada misses. Philippines, Mighty Sports go for gold. We'll try to go for the last shot of the first half. Gray slowing things down. 10 on the shot clock. There's about a second or two in between shot and game clocks. Gray. Oh, banks it in. I don't care if he calls it or not. That was an impressive shot. Coming off the curl from the screen, banks in the three.
39 points in this quarter for Mighty Sports. Go for gold. Dominating performance in the first half for the boys of Coach Charles Yu.
Also, while limiting UBC Canada to just 9 points in the second quarter, they were a plus 30. Mighty Sports was in that second period, and that is why they have taken full command of this ball game. And it's halftime here inside the Changhua Gymnasium where Mighty Sports Go for Gold Philippines is up 65 to 36. Yes, 65 points in the first 20 minutes of action because they scored 39 in the second quarter alone, all while limiting Canada to just 9 points.
It was actually a good start for Canada, even getting the lead at the end of the first quarter. But after that, the Mighty Sports Go for Gold Filipinas team, they really flexed their muscles and dominated that second period. As you can see, what a field goal percentage from the Mighty Sports, 65% from the field, 57 from the three-point area, and we have 14 assists, 5 blocks, and it's completely, all categories completely dominated by Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
You know, we trace back to the first quarter where we highlighted that Canada shot 6 for 9 from deep, and then they also had 6 assists. A lot of those did not move anymore. Those numbers that they were able to post in the first quarter, they barely moved in the second. They were really neutralized by the defense of Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
The adjustment was made by Coach Charles Chu and was executed to perfection by his boys as they really defended the shooters of UBC Canada. And right now, it's just a whopping lead for Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
And we'll be back to discuss more about this game and, of course, the third quarter in just a bit. It's third quarter now here in this match between Mighty Sports Go for Gold and UBC Canada. Jud Sulit and Coach Javi Nunag on deck to serve you this basketball game in the 2019 William Jones Cup. This third quarter is brought to you by HealthQ. Like we mentioned, UBC Canada still winless after 3 games here in this tournament. Mighty Sports still perfect, 3-0. And that, early in the match, we felt like there was a chance that that was gonna change, you know, with UBC Canada off to an excellent start thanks to Patrick Simon, but in the second quarter, it looked a lot more like both teams playing the way their record suggests they will.
Well, for University of British Columbia to start things off in the third period, they have to make sure that they have many goals. This is a huge lead right now by Mighty Sports Go for Gold. For UBC, mini goals. Like for example, in 3 minutes, they will cut down this lead to maybe 10, cut 10 points to this lead, cut 10 to 15 points. And then in the end of this period, this lead of Mighty Sports Go for Gold should be at least below 20 or 15 points only. So it's going to be mini goals, which I think they can achieve, but they have to do it quickly because once Mighty Sports Go for Gold gets their groove again here in the third period, they're difficult to stop.
And like we saw, early point there for Mighty Sports coming from the free throw line and the miss for University of British Columbia. And it's Mighty Sports England who gets a strong start to the third quarter, scoring 4 quick points.
It actually started the defensive end for UBC. They cannot afford to get for Mighty Sports to get open looks just like that. You cannot drain baskets as Patrick Simon continues to lead their team in scoring, but he has to have help and they have to play defense.
Is there any defensive scheme that you feel, UBC could try against the Mighty Sports team?
Well, the 2-3 zone in the first period actually worked for UBC Canada. As we see a forced shot right there in transition. It's a matter of making sure that they communicate on defense. There's too often open looks in the baskets for Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
UBC getting the stop there, but they throw the ball away. Miscommunication between Morrison and Borichet.
Coach Kevin Hansen frustrated with that play. You cannot afford to have fancy passes in this game against a formidable team like Mighty Sports.
Adams, they're trying to look for Phelps underneath. Williams instead takes the mid-range J. He misses. Borsier attacking. Simon, a hot hand back in the first half, starts out the third quarter with a three-pointer. That's a good sign for Coach Kevin Hansen.
5 points in the third quarter for Patrick Simon, 21 points overall. Look at his stat right there. Only 3 misses from the field. He has been a consistent workhorse for Coach Kevin Simon.
But Jeremiah Gray also early production in the second half. He hit a three-pointer earlier, and then this one again.
Confidence of the boys of Coach Charshu very high in this game.
Taylor Brown sinks a three-pointer as well. So it has been a shootout here in the third quarter.
It's actually a better offensive sequence for UBC, but it's the defense that should step up big for the boys of Kevin Sampson.
And that's just a beautiful move for Eugene Phelps. The spin, the fake, and then the finish. Brown, he hit one from that spot earlier. This one was a miss. Borsier will try his own three.
UBC players looking for that home run shot as they're attempting solely on the three-point area.
Gray will take his own three. Jeremiah Gray. Wow, what a start to the third quarter. And you see his teammates celebrating with him.
It's a very impressive stat line there for Jeremiah Gray. Has not missed from the field. It's another steal for Mighty Sports. And another 2 points for Jeremiah Gray.
He is in a mood. 4 of 4 from the field here in the third quarter. 11 points in the third quarter alone.
Very impressive work in the whole tournament actually for Jeremiah Gray. He has come to his own in this William Jones Cup, and the future is bright for this young man.
That's now 22 points for Mr. Gray. Brickman out to Williams. Mikey Williams strokes the three. Everything falling in for Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
They are in a groove right now, talking about the boys of Coach Charles Chu. Everything they want to do, they are doing against University of British Columbia.
36-point lead from the team from Philippines. Morrison, Nice pivot. Couldn't finish though. He gets his own board. The kick out. Boursier. Still nothing there. Rebound taken by Eugene Phelps. And Coach Charles Chu giving him the green light to attack. And that is the reason why.
He's gonna attack because he has a small guy in front of him, and nothing that the guard of UBC can do against Eugene Phelps.
Brown from outside. Still no go. Simon, the offensive rebound and the putback.
Kevin Hansen telling his guard to stay with the shot, meaning if you are going to hit a shot, make sure that you are there also for the offensive rebound. Just don't leak out and come back on defense.
Mighty Sports has really come to their own here in this game, you know, after a relatively slow start. But that slow start, coach, for them, was it really slow? Was it just a good start for Canada?
It was a combination of both, actually, knowing that Mighty Sports actually, the energy wasn't there, knowing that they were up against a team that has not won yet in this tournament. But the quick adjustment made by Coach Charles Chu, executed very well by his boys, and now look at the lead right now, huge for Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
We have a timeout brought to you by Go for Gold. Back with more action from the William Jones Cup in just a bit.
Wait for him to set a cross screen for Rose, then he seals.
It's the third quarter of this match between Philippines and Canada. Mighty Sports Go for Gold versus University of British Columbia. And we really saw the exchange, the payoff of the experience of the guys from Mighty Sports over the collegiate kids of Canada. Lots of credit, of course, to team UBC of Canada for the fight they put up early in the game, but eventually the men of Mighty Sports flexed their muscles and they continue to do it. 19 points already, Coach Javi, in about halfway through the third quarter. Taylor Brown swinging it. Grant Audu, three-pointer, that's good.
That's good ball movement there coming from the timeout of Coach Kevin Hansen as every player touched the basketball, resulting into a corner three-point shot.
Phelps has it. Elbow J. Eugene doesn't get it to go. 33-point lead for Mighty Sports. If I'm not mistaken, I think I saw Coach Kevin Hansen.
Me too. Like, talking to Ronaldo Bachman not to go in anymore. He's playfully talking to Ronaldo Bachman there.
Well, you know, this is still a great learning experience for the University of British Columbia. Remember how Philippines was represented last year by the Ateneo Blue Eagles, and it did a lot of good for them. Of course, they did win several games, but even from the teams that they lost to, they learned a lot of, and they gained a lot of excellent experience from that experience.
Playing against grown men. This will be the ones that UBC players will remember, that they can compete against grown men, veteran players, veteran of a lot of international basketball. And when they go back to their mother countries and to their mother leagues, I'm sure that they will improve a lot after this stint.
Eugene Phelps and Ronaldo Bachman, for sure. These guys from Canada will remember going up against those two, because even tomorrow, those bruises will be there. from banging bodies with Eugene Phelps and Ronaldo Bachman.
Right now, Coach Charles Drew going into a zone 2-3 zone defense as it's with the 3 minutes and 36 seconds remaining. Aaron Black coming in the game for Mikey Williams.
This guy, Mikey Williams, is also someone that the Philippines, the scene of Philippine basketball, will be watching as he tries to make his climb. Baseline J, no good there. Phelps getting that rebound. We didn't even see much from Jason Brickman in this game. We know that he usually runs that offense a lot. Black will miss. UBC. Phelps slow to get back on defense. Oh, nice strong move there from Shepard, moving Bachman away.
Attacking the defense of Ronaldo Bachman as Shepard scores inside for British Columbia.
Banal inside to Phelps. Eugene taking his sweet time. Just wasn't able to get the bucket, but he'll take 2 free throws.
What Shepard did against Bachman, Eugene Phelps did it to Shepard. A little bit of dose of his own medicine as he really bulldozed his way into a foul and then get to the line for 2 free throws.
Eugene Phelps pushing 19 points, 11 rebounds in this game.
Jack, go for Mason.
There have been 3 players from Mighty Sports who have scored in double figures. We did mention Jeremiah Gray with 22. Phelps has 19 and Ronaldo Bachman with 17 points and 7 rebounds.
So far, it has been a consistent Jones Cup for the reinforcements of Coach Charles Drew. NJ, Eugene Phelps, Zach Graham, and Ronaldo Bachman they have been really contributing heavily to the cause of Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
Phelps averages 21.3 points and 6 rebounds in this tournament. It's a turnover for UBC Canada.
They just throw the ball right across. It's only
Jack Cruz Damon unable to secure that pass.
who passed it.
Coach Kevin Hansen is searching for answers right now as he is puzzled on his team performance.
Yo, to Banal. Bachman out to Yo once again. Joseph will miss this one, but guess who was there? Ronaldo Bachman for the mop-up.
Zone defense is susceptible to offensive rebounds. That time a miss coming from Joseph Yo and an offensive putback for Ronaldo Bachman.
Brown, he loves that spot. And there you see why.
He's a capable shooter. Talking about Brown from University of British Columbia. He's hit a couple of corner shots.
And it really is on the right side of the court that he loves taking those. Although he doesn't shoot with the highest of percentages here in this tournament, just 33% from deep. But whenever he can knock down that shot, Coach Kevin Hansen will take it. Back-to-back hits for UBC Canada, both coming from Taylor Brown.
Taylor Brown with 5 points in 2 possessions, cutting down this lead of Mighty Sports.
Banal will fire away. Got Banal, drops in the 3.
Gabanal has been enjoying his finest basketball year, winning the D-League MVP, also winning an MVP in another league. And he's really one of the coveted amateur prospects that we have.
What will it take for him to be able to rise to the pros?
Consistency. Consistency, and as well as making sure that he improves his game.
Oh, look at that! And Halley, you play a highlight, and NJ loves it. You know he loves getting up there.
An alley-oop plus a smile for NJ and Mighty Sports Go for Gold, completely dominating UBC in this game.
Joseph Yo enjoying a pristine pass to the hoop.
It's a savior connection right there, but now to Joseph Yo.
Mighty Sports is having a lot of fun on the court right now.
Lincoln, what are you supposed to do now?
Did you like it? I can see Coach Kevin Hansen still coaching, still teaching his wards. Doesn't matter what the score is right now and how big the lead is. Making sure that these collegiate players, they create good habits. Doesn't matter if they're down big right now. It's just a matter of playing the game the right way.
Indeed, it is habit forming for these guys at such young ages. Oh, look at that! Ronaldo trying to go for something a bit too ambitious, but NJ loves it still. You know, he would have, maybe without the foul, maybe he could have gotten it.
Even surprised right there. That's communication right there, and knowing your teammate. As Ronaldo Bogman just threw it up on the board.
And by his facial expression, it was like Ronaldo was pissed that,
Why didn't you make that?
as if it was so easy. But you know what? Right now, Mighty Sports, they should be well on their way to collecting their 4th consecutive win. I mean, they're up by 40. It's so difficult to score 40 in a quarter, close to impossible already, and then you have to limit your opponent as well. So they're in an excellent position, and as we mentioned earlier, Korea coming up, it will be a daunting task for the team from the Philippines. UBC will not be able to end their 3rd quarter on a strong note. Well, it was still Mighty Sports Philippines, Mighty Sports Go for Gold, really exerting their will here in this match. They scored 39 points in the 2nd quarter. They scored 33 more in the 3rd, and they are now up by 40 with 1 full quarter remaining.
Defensively, what did they do? Offensively, what did they do?
Well, 3 more minutes.
They went a runner, thank you. So here's the matchup. We're going to go Jack up top. Brian, you're going to be the low guy. You're going to be here. 2 guys are here. Okay, you guys watching? We're going to go 1-3-1 right now. Just match up. When these guys run, you just stay with them. Drop. You guys stay with them. Copy. Those guys, you guys just make sure. If there's an overload cutter going on your side, just chase the guy. All that does is turn it into still a 3-2.
You got 1 full quarter remaining. Mighty Sports Go for Gold Philippines in an excellent position, up by 40 points. With 1 full quarter remaining, they already have 98 points up on that board. Many thanks to a 39-point 2nd quarter, and then followed up by a 33-point 3rd quarter. John Sulit and Coach Javi Nunag bringing you the action. And take a look at the schedule. We have South Korea coming up next for Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
And that's the national team of South Korea, bannered by their naturalized player, Ricardo Radcliffe. That is something to be excited about, and that's one game that I'm sure it's penciled on the schedule of Coach Charles Chu.
And also these are the games today. Korea earlier demolished Indonesia, and then right now we have Philippines versus Canada. 2 more coming up, Japan versus Jordan, and then later on the 2 Chinese Taipei teams. I'm sure that will be a treat for the fans here inside the Changhua County Stadium. This 4th quarter is brought to you by HealthQ. You were talking about habit forming earlier, and that obviously really goes into coaching younger players, younger teams.
And you look at Coach Kevin Hansen, he's still there standing up, barking instructions, making sure that they play the game the right way. And that's a sign of a good coach. Doesn't matter what score you are in, he is looking at the bigger picture. They might be completely dominated now, but the experience on competing against more talented and experienced men will become a big factor once they go back to their mother league.
29 assists now for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. Can they add more? Not this time. But you have coached Coach Javi at several levels. You've coached collegiate basketball, you've coached also in the pros. How different is the attack if you're the coach?
Well, it's not really a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It has to depend on your players. If you have a player who is really receptive on coaching, you really do what's best for him, meaning that you can tell him everything. But sometimes there are players that are not sometimes they're not receptive to your way of coaching.
Uh-huh.
You have to find the right way to send your message. In any case, the message has to be sent. As we see a 3-point shot by University of British Columbia, the message has to be sent. That's the challenge of the coaches right now. It cannot just be a one-size-fits-all. I'm a strict coach. I'm the one that lays down the law. No, it has to be. It has to depend on your players. You have to make sure that your players will receive your message.
Do players also ever adjust to the coach? I mean, playing style perhaps in the system that the coach wants to employ?
And if they adjust, that means the coach has done his job. So it really, for me as a coach, the challenge really is to make sure that the players buy into what you want to do.
Wong Choo-king getting his first piece of action here. And Jay with a throwdown on the putback.
They're having fun right now. Talking about Mighty Sports, go for gold. They have done their job in the first 3 quarters, just dominating every aspect of the game. As you can see, another 3-point shot coming from Brown, as he has shown that he can play with the big boys. 20 points, 6 out of 10 from the 3-point area, 60%. Along with Patrick Simon, these 2 players were the most consistent ones for University of British Columbia.
You know, Mighty Sports. Look at Bachman. Pick up Brown full court. And the lead is 39 points for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. The attack for UBC doesn't get it on the first try, but on the second, they get something positive. Wallach with the mop up there.
Aggressive play coming from University of British Columbia. Now they are in a 1-3-1 zone defense.
Wong Choo-king getting a bucket.
That's off a pass from Aaron Black. And Aaron Black, knowing the areas which the 1-3-1 is susceptible to, the corner areas, and found Wong Choo-king for that 2 points.
They were really looking to get him to score. And the answer on the other side from Lincoln Rosebush.
For the Mighty Sports Go for Gold, it will be a battle of attrition. Absent in this game was Mackenzie Moore because of the rest that Coach Charles Chu wanted him to have because of that ankle injury that he sustained. As we see Coach Aaron Black scoring for Mighty Sports, it has to be, the players have to make sure that they get ample rest, because next game against South Korea, it will be a big one, and also it will be the 5th game in 5 days. So that's not an easy task to do at all.
And that's why you see Coach Charles Chu pulling the plug on NJ and Bogman this early. With 6:23 remaining, I don't think we're going to see them back on the court for this game, as well as Eugene Phelps perhaps.
Coach Charles Chu is looking at the big picture right now, knowing that this is far from over. They really want to win the whole thing, and to win the whole thing is to be #1 after the elimination round. So he is making sure that his players get ample rest during the game, making sure that nobody will get injured, and the aches and pains must be treated.
Coach Kevin Hansen telling his guys, post up and want it. What do you think that means, Coach?
The desire. If you are going to be inside, you have to want to get that ball. You might not be there to space the floor just to be there. If you want to post up, you post up, and the desire to do something once you get that ball.
Brown with a pull-up. Oh, there's a foul. Looks like Taylor Brown will be taking 3 free throws.
Joseph Yo hit the elbow of Taylor Brown on that play. As again, the rule is you cannot touch any part of a shooter, especially in the air. You cannot touch any part, and make sure that he lands properly. He has space to land. And it'll be 3 shots right now for Taylor Brown.
I know it has been a disappointing, a very frustrating tournament so far for the University of British Columbia. About to absorb their 4th consecutive loss in as many games. But what are the positives you're seeing from their performances?
Well, their performances, you remember what I said in the early part of this game, that 2 of their 3 losses were in overtime. They really battled against Chinese Taipei. Chinese Taipei B1 over Canada 92 to 84. They lost to Indonesia 80 to 70, but Chinese Taipei A, they only won by 3 points. There were a lot of miscues in the end. It's expected with a young team, a collegiate team against grown men, but that had those things in the end game. Those will be valuable lessons when they get back to Canada and to their mother league.
And for sure, you know, the experience that they got here will come into play in the development of this team. We also saw great individual talent.
Yeah, we have Taylor Brown, Patrick Simon right there, and this is Shepard, who heed the call of Coach Kevin Hansen, wanting and the desire to do something in the post, as we see another athletic play coming from Jeremiah Gray, as he has been outstanding here for Mighty Sports Go for Gold.
Absolutely. If you're talking about guys who showed out today, then Jeremiah Gray is on top of that list already with 24 points.
Give and go.
And Grant Shepard with the flush over Jeremiah Gray.
That's the desire right there, answering the call of your coach. Doesn't matter what's the score, how big the lead of your opponent is, playing the game the right way.
And that is why Coach Kevin Hansen just kept on harping the same instructions to his men. You know, he wants to see them pick up that intensity. And Grant Shepard providing with that one play. However, they missed.
He wants to form good habits here. He's not looking at the score because it's a one-ball game already for Mighty Sports. As we see Joseph Yo with a vintage move. He wants to form good habits for the future. Looking at the big picture for this young team, I'm sure that there will be competing in a lot of international or national tournaments. So making sure that those habits will be formed and they will be executed once they're in their mother leagues.
I'm sure the Jones Cup also serves a lot of importance with national team scouting, especially the teams that are watching out for Korea, watching out for Chinese Taipei.
And also, Judge, sorry, but the chance of being in an international tournament is so different from playing back home.
Yeah.
It is very different. The environment is different. Your routines won't be the same. You're far from home. You're not with your. You're not in your comfort zone, and of course the calls are different. So just the experience factor right here is huge for young ones, just like the players of Coach Kevin Hansen.
Absolutely. And you know what? For a lot of players, playing in your national professional league, it's the goal for many, but you only get a certain players there are only a certain number of players who get there. So for a lot of basketball players, international basketball is where they land. But right now, we'll take a short break. It's a 113-79 lead for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. This time out is brought to you by Go for Gold.
Against number 10, can we just help Gap and take on the number 10 guy? He's too big for Gap. Help him out.
As you go reverse into the second block. Coming across reverse field, they can use on there. First look at Jonah.
Hey, try to get up to 40.
Out there, go all the way out.
40 points.
That is true opposite. Third block up. Hey. Big block. Big
Make it
block.
up.
Big block.
So you gotta pass the ball.
We're minutes away from the conclusion of this ball game, and it really looks like another win for Mighty Sports Go for Gold from the Philippines.
Side, Jonah.
And it looks like they will be handing UBC Canada's fourth loss of the tournament. Rose Bush missing on that turnaround. Who would you say was the most impressive individual for Mighty Sports in this game, Coach?
Well, Ronaldo Bautman, head and shoulders above the rest. And because he played both ends of the floor, he led by example. He defended, very well his assignment for UBC Canada, and when they needed points, they went to Ronaldo Bogman.
Here's UBC on the attack, getting 2 points from Dumont.
It's a good defensive stop into a bucket for University of British Columbia.
Great. Dancing in front of the defense. Jeremiah couldn't get it. Cruz Dumont to Familia. 2 minutes remaining in this ball game. Brown looking to get Canada closer, and he does.
For Taylor Brown and Patrick Simon, they really lit it up for Coach Kevin Hansen. They did their thing. It's just that Mighty Sport was just too strong, too formidable, and too talented for University of British Columbia.
That's 25 points each for Patrick Simon and Taylor Brown. And a combined 11 made three-pointers between the two of them. That was actually the 7th three-point make of Taylor Brown. Banal beating the shot clock. Able to get the 2 points. He's got 7.
Taylor Brown giving a much-deserved rest as Coach Kevin Hansen appreciated his effort of his star guard.
And Charles Dye enters the ball game for him.
Real point guards are supposed to pass the ball. Is that his drive thing?
Yo.
I like what Coach Kevin Hansen said there. He said that a point guard should not be driving at the first chance that he gets. It's to distribute the basketballs. Again, with a minute and 15 seconds left, he is still harping. Good habits have to be formed here, and you have to play the game the right way.
And this is something that he hopes will be something that helps them in their local collegiate tournament back in Canada. We know there are a lot of great players, great schools, impressive programs in Canada, and UBC is striving to be part of that conversation as well.
Canadian invasion also in the National Basketball Association.
Absolutely.
Full effect. And remember, the champions are from Canada.
Hurry up, hurry up,
Uh-huh.
Raptors.
That's very true, and that's why it's a very, very proud time for Canada and their basketball back there.
Keep asking for it, Link.
Here's Familia. A minute remaining in this ball game. Cruz Dumont knocking down a three-pointer.
Continuing to play the game the right way are the players of Coach Kevin Hansen despite this huge lead of Mighty Sports.
This is going to be another win for Mighty Sports Go for Gold. The next battle will be against Korea. And for one of those two teams, it is going to be their first loss, because at this point, well, in about half a minute, Mighty Sports will be 4-0. Korea is also 4-0 at this moment after the win they got earlier against Indonesia.
Joseph pulling up for 3 as it's going to be a win, the 4th straight victory of Mighty Sports Go for Gold, and another defeat for the University of British Columbia.
Great performance for Patrick Simon. Great performance for Taylor Brown, both finishing the game with 25 points each. But this game belongs to Ronaldo Bogman and the rest of Mighty Sports Go for Gold. They had 3 players scoring in 20s. You have Jeremiah Gray with 25, Bogman with 20 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, at 2 steals and 4 blocks, and also Eugene Phelps with a monstrous 20-point, 11 rebound performance. And that does it for this game. It's another presentation of the 2019 William Jones Cup. My name is Jud Sulit, for my partner, Coach Javi Nunag, the hardworking crew behind this coverage of the Jones Cup. Thank you so much for watching. And up next for Mighty Sports Go for Gold will be Korea. We'll bring you the action tomorrow, so watch it here, and we'll see you then.